Hello everyone, my name is Gracian and welcome to a video that I've never done before. This is going to be a Gen Con haul from my trip to Gen Con 2022. Gen Con is a really fantastic board game convention. Those of you who have gone know how much fun there is to be had there. There's kind of something for everybody, and those of you who haven't been there, you should definitely check it out. It is one of the biggest gaming cons in the world. There were 50,000 attendees this year. A couple years previous, there were 60,000. That was their cap, pre-COVID. And it is just a phenomenal time. There's gaming, wargaming, board gaming, mini gaming. There's even like video games will debut there and do demoing. There's cosplay. There's so much going on. It is just a fantastic, fantastic time. Speaking of COVID, my spouse and I got COVID this year at Gen Con, and it was pretty miserable, but thankfully we have 3 of the booster/vaccine shots by this point. So for us, it was really just a chest cold for a couple of days of misery. And then after that, we started getting better pretty quickly. So I am very thankful for that because that could have been a very, very miserable experience or worse. So for this video, for all of my exciting things that I brought back from Gen Con, I'm going to be splitting it up into 4 parts. I have D&D stuff, I have board games, I have miniature stuff, and I have a very small section of art that I picked up. So the video will be separated down below with timestamps, so if you want to jump ahead or something, feel free to do so. First up on my list is this wonderful board game called Brew. This is probably my most exciting board game that I got this year. I got a handful, but this one is really, really exciting to me. This is a game about going into the forest and placing dice in order to collect resources so that you can brew potions and make friends with like these different sort of mythical forest creatures. The world has been shattered and the seasons don't align properly anymore, so you can have a summer and a winter occurring in one forest and a fall and a winter in another forest. One of the things that really drew me to this game was the art. The developer was kind enough to explain the game to us, which was a super cool surprise at the end when he was like, oh yeah, I made this game, by the way. So that was really, really cool. We got to go to the Pandasaurus demo room. It was across from the vendor hall, and they had some really great stuff this year. I think we got 2 or more games from this publisher this year, actually. Fantastic stuff. A couple of the things that drew me to this game beyond the artwork was I love crafting potions in games. I love collecting resources and making potions and stuff out of it. I do that in most video games I play. I do that in a lot of board games. It's really, really a fun thing that I love to do. Another high point for me for this game is that my spouse mentioned that a lot of the characters, like the art of the characters for this game, they all look like they have like 2 brain cells. Once they said that, I couldn't unsee it. So yeah, but a lot of the characters look like they only have a couple of brain cells, and it's really, really great. Again, not knocking the art in any way. I think it's absolutely gorgeous and fantastic, but yeah, everybody looks like they might be an orange cat. The second game I picked up this year at Gen Con is a game called Studies in Sorcery. This is actually another resource collection potion brewing game. I absolutely love those, actually. Potion Explosion is actually one of my favorite board games. If you've never played that one, the one with the actual like marble dice tray and you get to flick the marbles down into it, and it's a really fun game. This game is a sort of push your luck game where you're going out into the graveyard and digging up bones and other parts of dead things and using them to brew potions and get ahead in your class, but you're also trying to get away with not being caught digging up stuff in the cemetery. You can also go to the market and buy ingredients, and then you can brew all sorts of stuff. And this game takes place over the course of different semesters, as well as there are like phases of the moon that impact how the game is played and what kinds of actions are available. This is a super cool little game, and I am very excited to play this by Weird Giraffe Games up here. The third of 4 board games I got this year is Fuse. This game, I gotta say, the artwork on the front doesn't do it for me. This is the kind of game I think I would never have even picked up, to be honest, and that's my bad, because this game is really, really fun. This is a game about defusing bombs with dice. It's cooperative, and it is a time-based game. I love cooperative games, but I don't generally like time limits or you know, modern sort of themes like bomb defusal, but this game plays a little bit like Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. If you've played that video game, you are collectively you're rolling dice, and then you have these cards that you need to assign the dice to in order to defuse bombs. And if you're unable to assign dice, they end up sort of exploding and taking dice with them, and then you're set back to 0 and you have to start again with building up your cards for defusal. Sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. You've got these cards and they tell you what to do. It may be something like stacking dice from highest to lowest, or you've got a card that requires you to put a green die in one slot and a blue die in the other slot, and they have to add up to 7, something like that. So this is super fun. The time limit is 10 minutes, so you can play, like we played a couple rounds of this in the hotel room the night we bought it, and it took us 25 minutes because the setup and cleanup is super fast. It's just a deck of cards about that thick, a bag of dice. That's it, 10-minute games. Very, very good game. The fourth and final board game I got is this Miskatonic University, the Restricted Collection. I don't know what this is at all. I got it for free in a raffle from an event I went to, so let me know if you've played this, and if it's any good. I haven't even opened it. Real quick, I did just want to mention that there was a booth for a game called Pocket Paragons, and they have a lot of different cards. It's like a collectible card game. I don't know if it's a living card game or if it's sort of, you know, I don't know what style it is exactly, but it is a duel game. So there's these different sort of deck archetypes, and they were handing out these little duel set packs. So this is a very small 2-player duel like test run of the game. So I brought this home, and I am excited to try this out because I did like some of the art. It says you can learn to play in 3 minutes. So I am excited to try this out. If this game ends up being fun, I saw that there was quite a lot of content available from their booth. So that is something exciting to look forward to. The next section for this video is going to be Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So I am a big 5e player. I ran a campaign for 4 years that we just finished, you know, maybe 6 months ago, and that was a lot of fun, and we are thinking about starting a new one here pretty soon. So there's a book coming out that I kickstarted, a third-party supplement called Griselda's Guide to Ghost Hunting, and I thought a ghost hunting campaign would be pretty fun, so I'm probably going to be running something like a 1 through 12 campaign, maybe 15. I don't want to go all the way to 20 this time. So a couple of the things I picked up this year. This is the one I'm most excited for. This is not exclusively a Dungeons & Dragons book. This is the Encyclopedia of Spirits and Ghosts in World Mythology. So this is super cool. I'm really excited about this book because this is just an A to Z reference guide of spirits and ghosts from a multitude of cultures and places around the world. It's super fantastic. Let's read a random excerpt. Okay, we've got the Moongazer. A type of ghost in Trinidad folklore, the Moongazers, said to stand 40 feet tall and 2 feet wide, are said to catch people by standing across the road and waiting for people to pass beneath their legs. That's terrifying, and this whole book is like that. It's just filled with these wondrous and bizarre ghosts that we may have never heard of, depending on what culture you're from. And this content is very well cited. I mean, here's the bibliography starts here, and it's that long. What in the world? This is like a scholarly paper. Very creepy stuff in here. So I'm very excited to use that for D&D. Next up, I have a couple of modules that I got. This one was a free one. There's usually a booth or two handing out free adventure modules. So this is the Sunken Temple of Set, a Dark Tower adventure by Chris Doyle. So it's a seventh level adventure module by Chris Doyle. So that is pretty exciting. I was a adventure module naysayer until my group ran a one-shot based on one I got free from Gen Con like 5 years ago. I'd just been sitting on it doing nothing, and then we ran it, and it was honestly some fantastic dungeon design and some interesting characters and some genuinely creepy moments were in that. So I am no longer an adventure module naysayer. This free module could be one of the most fun things I do all year, so I am excited to take a look at those. The other one I got was this one. It's got some very retro looking art on the front, but I still, I can appreciate it. This is a Dungeon Crawl Classics. Now this one is about strange mists and weird lights glimmer and seethe along the banks of the Drakenwald swamp. The folk of Kingshire have vanished like ghosts into the swamp, yada yada. So this is exciting. I got this for $1, which is a steal, to be honest, because again, this could be one of the best things I play for years. I don't know. But yeah, I'm always looking for adventure modules and maps and layers and that kind of stuff, because that stuff is so inspiring when you're creating your own content. You can take almost any module and just, if you want to, is reskin it for something else. I mean, this could easily become a ghost hunting module for my next campaign. The last piece of literature I picked up was this book called GM Gems. This is Tools for Every Game Master by Goodman Games. I love these kind of supplements that are just filled with charts and tables and ideas. This has all sorts of fantastic stuff inside. What is this? So this, for instance, has Chapter 1, The Urban Experience. There is Alchemical Mishaps, 100 Dockside Events, Rites of Passage, Specialty Shops, just stuff to populate your world with. New look caravans, campsites, roadside ruins, traveling merchants. There's all sorts of fantastic stuff. And just these little things can really sort of inspire a character. You've got memorable NPC frills. So just looking at the chart, number 2, a backpack made from a dead monster. That's an interesting backstory right there. How did that character defeat that monster? Why do they keep it on display like that? What monster was it? Very cool. Those little things can provide a lot of improvisation as well. If you don't go out of your way to build a character ahead of time, you can just use a table like this. I have so many books like this down here that have just random stuff in them, and I love flipping through that, and you get an idea just so quickly out of those. And some quality content has been made to populate these books with these tables of cool stuff. All right, we're done with books, so we're moving on to, I got a dice tray. This dice tray is really cool. It's got like these sort of eldritch looking symbols in it. This is really strange to admit. I don't own a dice tray. I've never owned a dice tray for some reason. I've always just either rolled just like on my table, or I've used digital dice. I don't know why I've never owned a dice tray, but this year I went to Gen Con specifically with the idea of getting one. There were ones all the way from a $10 one that looked like it would fall apart after you roll dice in it a few times, to ones that cost $95 that were specialty made out of like wood and magnets and all that stuff. And those are great, but I didn't want to spend $95 more this year after I already spent a lot of money. So I got this one, which I think was a good price. It's got these really cool, it's got this awesome like reflective gold in it, and it's these eldritch symbols are really quite inspiring for just storytelling and just thinking about like mythoses and stuff. This company is called Elder Dice, because I also got a set of their dice here, so I'll put up some pictures of that on screen. But they have these little boxes that look like little grimoires, so it's like a little book. You can kind of open her up here on the side here, and it's like a little box, and then it's got a set of dice in it. Now I've got a bunch of random other dice in there as well, because like most of you, I'm a dice hoarder. What I tend to do when I'm using physical dice is I have an eclectic collection of random dice with different colors and symbols on them, just dice that I like at the moment. And I was thinking it might be nice to actually have a matching set for once that I actually use, so I thought this would make a really cool sort of everyday use set of dice. It's got this awesome symbol on the front. This is the Night Mother. It came with this cool little card inside that talks about who this Night Mother character is and what she's all about. It's super awesome. I also got a handful of other random dice. One thing I went to Gen Con looking for this year was better D4s. I have an irrational hatred for the standard D4 shape. I don't find them fun to roll. I find them confusing to read. So I went specifically looking for alternative to D4s, and I found these fantastic like infinity shaped D4s. I love these. They're D4s, but they're shaped more like D6s. They basically just have two rounded faces so that they can only roll on 4. I'm gonna use these a lot more and sort of get rid of my other D4s and just put them away. I don't like them. I just don't like them. And these D4s are fantastic. And then the last D&D thing that I have to show off is something that I was very, very excited for to get this year. I got this set from Level Up Dice. This is a gemstone set of dice. So I have always wanted a set of gemstone dice. I have several precious stones that are my favorites. I love labradorite, I love tiger's eye, I love opal, I love a lot of those different sort of gems. And my spouse, as a present, got me basically a coupon that was like, next time you're somewhere where you want to get a set of these dice, you can go ahead and do it. And so I really appreciated that. And then 2020 happened. So we didn't go to a con for like 2.5 years. So I just had this coupon lying around just taunting me that I'm allowed to get a nice set of dice, but when am I gonna see it again? You know, and it's not something you want to order online because you want the opportunity to see them in person and look for the stone that you want, make sure there aren't any imperfections. If I'm going to spend $95 or whatever on a set of dice, they better be perfect. The picture won't quite do it justice because tiger's eye, if you're familiar with that type of gemstone, has this iridescent quality to it because the striations in the stone itself kind of act as like these filament tubes, and so it catches light and diffuses it all along those little filaments and give it that sort of almost holographic look to it when you move them around. So tiger's eye is a fantastic gemstone if you ever get a chance to look at one that's well polished and in like some light. Very, very cool. So I am very happy to have a set of these that it's going to be really, really fantastic. And obviously I needed a dice tray because I'm not going to roll these on my desk and have them, you know, risk them falling off and landing on the floor and chipping or something. I think I would cry. All right, section 3. This is the miniatures section. Now, I am not a big mini gamer. I have tried and failed to get into a few different minis games. They just don't speak to me, but there is one that I like, and that is Corvus Belli's Infinity. So I specifically play Code 1. I have a friend, and we play every other Friday. If you're not familiar with the lore of the Infinity Universe, it's in a near future. It's a sci-fi setting, and humanity has colonized outside of Earth, but there's still a lot of factions that are vying for different kinds of control of resources and political power, etc. You know the drill. I play as Yu Qing. They are a conglomerate of some of the largest countries in modern day Asia that have banded together into a single organization or country essentially later on. And it consists of things like Korea and Taiwan and China. They used to have Japan in them, but they seceded. Don't quote me on the lore of this. I'm not an expert. As of this Gen Con, they're releasing Operation Blackwind. So this now has Aleph and Hakislam in it. Now, I was not interested in Hakislam until I started seeing some of their lore and their characters, and they are quite interesting. What I'm really here for is Aleph. Aleph is super cool. They are the robot overlords of, or the single AI overlord of the human sphere. So this is going to be super, super fun. Now, again, because I have been sick with the disease that shall not be named, I haven't even cracked into this yet because I haven't done anything for a week since I got home. I also picked up the Dire Foes little like day 1 DLC essentially for the Aleph. So it's got an Aleph unit and we've got this backwards, Aleph unit and a Hakislam unit, and then I think this is like a neutral like ambassador type unit. And then there is a con exclusive or event exclusive Helen of Troy miniature. This miniature looks to be a very high quality compared to, I mean, their miniatures are great quality, but this one is like above and beyond. And she was free with my purchase of those other two things, which is awesome. The one other thing I picked up from Corvus Belli this year was I went to one of their panel, which was news, and it was honestly my favorite panel I went to all weekend. It was hilarious. There was so much lore and like new models and stuff dropping, and they had this fantastic presentation that they showed that had just so much good stuff. And one of the things they were talking about that is coming out soon, and I don't know a lot about this yet, but there's a game that they're coming out with called Warcrow Adventures. I think it's a Gloomhaven style sort of campaign game, but they were giving out these little promo minis from the game to everyone that attended the panel, and I got the Cleric, which I thought was the coolest mini, so I'm kind of stoked that I got the Cleric one actually. And then for our fourth and final section is the art section. I only got a couple of things. I'm not a big collector of art, but if something kind of speaks to me, I will. One thing I got is tokens. I play MTG casually, and I like saprolings, and I like zombies, so I will put that photo up. A lot of the deck archetypes I play involve tokens. You know, zombies, saprolings, knights, golems. I don't know, I like making tokens, so anytime I get the chance to buy a unique token for those or trade somebody for official art tokens, I will do so. These ones are actually signed by the artist Scott Murphy, who I had the pleasure of meeting there. He's an MTG artist. The other piece of art I got this weekend is this evil cardinal guy, and it says Cardinal Sin on here. I thought it was funny. This is an artist that we know. We see her at a lot of conventions. She's from the My Little Demon group, which is a play on My Little Pony. She makes like this really cool art of demon versions of ponies. She has plush and pins and a ton of art and stuff. She's actually awesome. My spouse and I see her at cons all the time, and we always try to stop in, and I try to buy some stuff from her when I can. So Heather, thank you so much. And with that, that is all of my stuff that I got this year from Gen Con. So I appreciate everybody tuning in to see my haul. My spouse has their own haul of stuff. There's a giant bag right over here filled with board games and stuff that I'd be happy to show you if you want to see that as well. We play a lot of games in this house. You know, we have I would say a fairly decent board game collection by this point. We pare it down every so often, get rid of some of the older stuff or the not so good stuff and make room for new. And I think that we have a pretty good roster of games by this point. And we have a core group of people that we have over all the time to play games with. We play games on Tabletop Simulator with people we can't see in person. You know, we just look for opportunities to play games as much as we can. And going to Gen Con the years that we can is always such a fantastic boost to gaming, but not only in terms of actually bringing home amazing board games to play, but also in terms of just upping your excitement. You know, there's something about the energy of all the people that are there at Gen Con, just enjoying their favorite games and learning about new ones that just makes you want to go home and play board games. I always tell my spouse and my friends that one of my very favorite things about Gen Con, and it's just the smallest thing, but when you're walking through the jam-packed aisles and corridors and hallways in the hotels and other buildings around Gen Con, every square inch of floor space is taken up by people that are napping, eating, or opening and playing a board game they just bought. And I love seeing everybody just like enjoying everything they can about Gen Con, every place and every moment that they can. It's such a great thing to witness and then be part of as well. So thank you everybody so much for coming to this video. This is something new for me, so if this is the kind of thing that you like and you have any recommendations for something similar to this, then please let me know. You know, if you want to see this again, you know, next year or something, let me know. I'd be happy to do more haul type videos in the future, or even talk about some of the other games we play, what we like about them. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video.